were maybe the least aesthetically pleasing games we've ever seen.
Yeah, a number of things have changed, but excuse me, one of them have to be special teams play for 2 weeks in a row now. The Eagles last year had led the league in ESPN Stats and Information's special teams expected points added metric. Long story short, it's a metric that says how scoreboard impactful were your special teams plays. And in the last two games, they led the league in it last year. In the last two games, they've had the best showings in that metric that they've had all season. So I think you add that to what they're getting out of the vertical passing game and a few other things that they're doing. I think that those things are making the difference in getting them a close win versus a close loss.
Sam Bradford, yesterday, the problem with Sam Bradford is he might be your best option now, but is he your best option 2 years from now? And that's where I think the Eagles are going to be in a little bit of a tough spot.
Yeah, but when you're doing as well as they are you going to be able to get a quarterback in the draft who's any better? Maybe. I'll put it this way. If I'm the Eagles, I don't stop trying to draft prospects. It's that old personnel thing where some personnel directors think you should draft a quarterback in every single draft because the more you get, the better option, the better odds that you have of getting a good quarterback and things. So I don't think they should give up on it. But you've got a guy, you want to think of like 3 to 5 year windows, and if you're looking at Bradford over a 3 to 5 year window, can he still be your quarterback potentially? Yeah, he can still be your quarterback. So if I'm the Eagles, I don't throw in the towel on him.
What are some of the things that you were mentioning? What are some of the things that he's doing over the last couple of weeks? I mean, again, the numbers aren't great. He's not wowing you. He certainly has steadied the ship, it looks like. But let's be honest. They weren't losing the game because Mark Sanchez was the quarterback a couple of weeks ago. They were losing the games because they gave up 45 a week on defense.
Yeah, the defense was the bigger issue. I mean, he's doing the same thing he's always done. He's not making a lot of bad decisions. His bad decision rate is lower than the league average, so he's good there. He's not going to lose many games there. He's improved his accuracy some. That's one of the things that we've had an issue with all year is that there are times when he looks like this fantastic quarterback, and there are times when it looks like he's that he can't hit the broadside of a barn. You're getting less of that, and I think as he got the rust shaken off earlier in the year, I think that's improved his accuracy and things. So, and I think that's part of the reason, one of the things that Kelly's probably looking at is saying that, hey, this guy's came into the season, he was banged up, and now he's had to shake off all that rust. And next year, we're not looking at him having to do that. So, assuming he doesn't get hurt.
Yeah, that's a point that I was bringing up before you came on. Is how much of his development will be him being in that second year of the offense.
Oh, I think it'll be a tremendous development, and it's not only him. A lot of times, it's not just the quarterback looking for their development. You look at the quarterback of the wide receivers too, and their development. And now you're going to have Aguilar in year 2. Now you're going to have Matthews in year 3. You're going to have these guys who've been in the offense for a little bit because a lot of times, like you look at college and things, and a lot of times the team, you'll see 2 or 3 years where you'll get teams that have these young players. And until they get into that second or third year, they're not going to be very productive. And same thing happens in the pros. So I think it's the overall. Like Aguilar's, we saw the vertical threat he was yesterday. He hasn't been that earlier in the season, but that's what he can do if he gets in his offense and they can get in the groove.
Yeah, and you're right. I think Aguilar's development down the road is going to be big too. He hasn't really displayed much this year, nor has Matthews. I think Matthews has taken a little bit of a step back. Why, in your opinion, has Matthews of the two guys? I mean, Aguilar's a rookie. I guess it's hard to really anticipate what he's going to be. But Matthews was a big contributor last year. He seems like he's taken a step back.
Yeah, I think it's because you need to develop him for more than just being a slot receiver. I think you've got to make him an overall receiver. And last year he was able to pretty much just be the slot guy. And I think this year they've asked him to try to do that and more. And I think teams have realized that, hey, if we take him out of the slot, there's not a whole lot he can do. So he needs to be a guy you can use at the slot, at the X, at the Z. You've got to be able to use him everywhere. You can't just make him a one-trick pony.
I want to ask you about Fletcher Cox because yesterday Rex Ryan compared him to Jerome Brown. I mean, this guy seems like he's disruptive, and we always talk about game plan players on defense. Is there a guy on the Eagles defense you need to game plan for? And it seemed like it was a very nondescript bunch. Is that changing week by week with Cox?
Yeah, didn't Incognito say that he basically said that the Cox dominated him yesterday, and he did. And that, as good as that is, I don't want to nitpick about it, but the Eagles they had 12 plays where they allowed 2 or fewer yards in the running game. That's great, but they allowed 156 in the other plays. So they're still, to win the plays up front and to win a blocking battle on your front seven is fantastic, and they're doing more of that. but the running game is more than just winning that upfront battle. You've got it when the other team is blocking you well. I guess the way you could put it, if you're winning a blocks, you're automatically going to get a play that goes for a little game. But if you're not winning all the blocks, your safety's got to come up. You got to get off the blocks, and you got to limit those rushes to a few yards. And the Eagles were giving up way too many yards when they were getting blocked yesterday.
Casey Joyner's with us here. We're looking at the Eagles' win over the Bills. It's evident that this Eagles offense is better with the Matthews, Barner, and or Sproles. Murray yesterday did not have a big impact, although he still had the second most carries on the team. But if the Eagles are committed to sticking with Matthews and Sproles over Murray, does that make them the favorite in this division?
I think right now they are the favorite in the division. Yeah, absolutely. I think the way that they're playing right now, we're going to talk about special teams. They're hitting the vertical passes. They've got the running game going better now that they're using more speed instead of power. I think you look at all those elements, and I'm looking at them saying, yeah, I think they could win the division. I don't know that they'll make any noise in the playoffs, but I wouldn't be surprised if they play up to their talent level and things. We'd be surprised to see them get into the playoffs and make a step in the playoffs and things, because this team at times this year has looked like we thought they were going to look in the preseason. It's just a matter of getting that to happen over a longer period of time than just, say, a quarter at a time.
Do you think Bradford still has more developing that he can display this year? Or, I mean, in terms of, he said yesterday that he feels more comfortable, his feet feel better, moving around, even taking those 2 weeks off when he was hurt. That could have helped him out a little bit. But, this is a guy who still missed a lot of football the last couple of years.
Yeah, and he has been banged up some this year, too, and that's the thing. And it's my only concern with Bradford is we've talked about it, and we still saw it some yesterday, where when a quarterback is aiming passes, a lot of times that means they don't want to step into a throw, or they don't want to just go ahead and gun it in there. And a lot of times they don't want to step into the throw, because if you step into the throw, you're going to step into a pass rusher, or you're trying to aim it to maybe a throw off your back foot so that you don't step into things. And if he doesn't correct that, if he can't, we can't get him to the point. The Eagles can't get him to the point where he's going to go ahead and say, I'm ignoring the pass rush and I'm just going to go make my hit because I know people are going to give me good blocking. And if I got to take a hit, I got to take a hit, but I got to complete the pass. If we don't keep seeing that, I think that's going to be the key to whether or not Bradford becomes that next level quarterback, or whether or not he's just a really good guy he can win 10 games with. But that's it.
And moving forward here, you mentioned special teams, but the Eagles defense too has, the last year, even though they didn't make the playoffs, they won 10 games, and a lot of that was based on special teams, touchdowns, and defensive touchdowns. And it seems like the defense, which, man, I don't know what happened in those couple of weeks against the Lions, who, are not a great offensive football team, against the Dolphins, the game they lost there, and against Tampa Bay. 3 teams that are not very good offensive teams, and they were just beaten and battered. What has changed about their defense? Is this something Billy Davis has done? Is this just, hey, we just hit the wall in the season, and for whatever reason, the scoreboard worked out that way?
I still think I like it. It comes down to, on rush defense, I mean, there was improvement that you're winning more blocks up front, and that's good. And mind you, I might be nitpicking a bit much about the rush defense, because he gave up 53 yards against Taylor. He got that. So the rest of the team only got 100 yards. It's not too bad when you're dealing with the kind of running game you're dealing with there. And Watkins yesterday gets the one big pass early on where Maxwell gets caught out of position. They ran a stack, and he got a little out of position, and then his teammate ran into him. So beyond that, though, they only had allowed 4 vertical completions. That's it. And Watkins didn't do anything else pretty much besides that one big play. So I think it's a matter of if you can take the other team's vertical passing game away, and you can keep giving up the huge plays in the running game, and you're going to maybe give up some, but not the huge ones where they gave up in that 2-game stretch, and the worst run defense in the NFL. I think that makes a big difference.
Well, I think you make a good point. The run defense has tightened up. When teams that were able to run on you so much, that opens up the opportunity to beat you down the field. And, Maxwell he's really struggled, and obviously getting Rowe, having to put a rookie in there. I think he's played pretty well, but that first game they picked on him. He gave up 3 scores. The next thing you know, it looks like a mess. But, yeah, they've tightened it up a little bit, and it's been crazy to see. This is what the league is, though, right? I mean, hey, you could look awful 2 weeks, and then 2 weeks later they don't even remember what happened and how you got that bad.
It's one of the most inconsistent seasons I've seen in 13 years of doing this, where you're just not seeing there's always inconsistencies, but the ebbs and flows of this season are much higher and lower than they've been in past years. And because that, though, the Eagles, in the vertical passing game, hey, you're talking about Maxwell, you're talking about Rowe, talk about 2 cornerbacks who teams would think you could pick on, and Watkins has been one of the best vertical threats in the league the past couple of weeks. He's been dominating teams, but hey, he only catches 2 vertical passes. He gets the one, other than one touchdown against Maxwell, he gets 1 vertical pass the rest of the game.
He had had me really concerned, Watkins, but I thought the Eagles did a pretty good job there, and a lot of that's got to go to their pass rush as well. Casey Joyner, everybody, he'll be back later on in the week with a look at the matchups to watch against a very good, maybe the best team in the most complete team in the NFL, the Arizona Cardinals. We'll look forward to that. Thanks, pal.
Appreciate it.
Casey Joyner, everybody, here on the Sports Bash. Always good to get his take.